And the Oscar goes to Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
Cleveland, Ohio, August 14th, 1966. A baby girl takes her first breath in a city built on steel and struggle. Her name, Maria Halle Berry. By 4 years old, her father is gone. By 16, she's already fighting for crowns and pageants that weren't designed for black girls to win. Every victory comes with resistance. Every spotlight, a reminder that she is pushing into rooms that would rather keep her outside. She is Miss Teen All-American, Miss Ohio USA, first runner-up at Miss USA 1986, a finalist at Miss World. But beneath the tiaras lies the truth. Identity isn't a costume, it's a battlefield. By 1989, she's in New York. On set, she collapses into a diabetic coma. For 3 days, her life hangs by a thread. Hollywood is brutal, and she hasn't even begun. Then she strips off the glamour, washes away the makeup, and shocks a director who thought she was too beautiful to play broken. One audition, one role, and the illusion shatters. Narrator: this is the story of Halle Berry, the girl who became a queen, the queen who became an icon, and the icon who still asks, who will come next? Cleveland, Ohio, August 14th, 1966. Maria Halle Berry takes her first breath in a city that makes steel and stars in equal measure. Her mother, Judith, a psychiatric nurse, is her anchor. Her father, Jerome, is a hospital attendant who later drives buses. But when their marriage ends while Halle is just 4 years old, the home fractures, leaving Judith to raise Halle and her sister alone. In an America still wrestling with race and gender divides, Halle's childhood is colored by resilience, by the reality of a black girl with a white mother, and by the early awareness that she will have to walk into rooms that weren't built for her and find ways to stay.
The black community.
Your maternal grandparents, they actually, I found it hard.
The environment is not kind. Growing up biracial in Cleveland during the late 1960s and 70s, Berry remembers the sting of racism and exclusion, not only from society, but at times even within her own extended family.
Wait, hold up. Who the f*** is that?
She finds love and happiness.
Her maternal grandparents, shocked by their daughter's interracial marriage, briefly disowned Judith. For Halle, the message was unmissable. Identity wasn't just a personal truth, it was a battlefield. But rather than retreat, she sharpened her tools: discipline, charm, charisma, traits that became her armor.
When I was a kid, I was a latchkey kid, and what I had in front of me was the television.
By high school, she is everywhere at once. A natural leader, she is elected class president and edits the school paper. She is a cheerleader, a flute player in the marching band, and already mastering the art of balancing multiple roles.
Having a beauty pageant queen girlfriend. He was fixed on it.
Yet it is the pageant circuit that becomes both her runway and her battering ram. Starting with Miss Teen All-American in 1985, Halle turns visibility into momentum. She is crowned Miss Ohio USA, places as first runner-up at Miss USA 1986, and makes it all the way to 6th place at Miss World.
High school picture, and he sent it into the pageant, the Miss Teen Ohio. He read about it in the paper, and then I just remember getting a note in the mail saying, you have...
For a young black woman in Reagan-era America, this was not just glamour, it was defiance. In an industry that rarely showcased women of color as icons of beauty, Berry was forcing open doors. That spotlight, though still tinted with tokenism, gave her a passport into auditions that otherwise would have remained sealed shut.
Because I love it. I love the challenge, and I love to go to dark places. I love to stretch.
When the cameras stopped flashing, however, Berry often felt the sting of token victories. At her high school, she won prom queen only to see administrators stage a suspicious tiebreaker coin toss when her victory proved too uncomfortable for the status quo.
Called me up and said, hey, baby, do you have 6 toes? I don't know you had 6 toes. I'm like, I don't have 6 toes.
She won, but she never forgot the message that her victories would often come with a fight, that her crown would never sit without weight. These memories were not just anecdotes. They were training, teaching her how to face down the subtler violences of an industry waiting for her on the horizon. By 1989, New York calls. She lands a role in the sitcom Living Dolls, her first national exposure. But the glow is short-lived. One day, on set, she collapses without warning, slipping into a diabetic coma. For 3 days, her life hangs in the balance. Diagnosed with diabetes, Berry confronts mortality in her early 20s.
That this would be happening and put me on some other kind of maintenance and care plan before that happened.
The show is canceled after just 12 episodes, but the moment becomes lore in her legend. It is the first of many lessons. The dream can vanish in an instant, and survival is never guaranteed.
Emily, the jeans people want you for a call back at 2:30. All right! And tell Caroline she's got a...
Later, as media speculation swirls about the accuracy of her type 1 diagnosis, Berry becomes a case study in how celebrity bodies are scrutinized, dissected, and doubted. Her health transformed into tabloid fodder. Behind the gossip, the reality remains. She nearly lost it all before it even began.
Warned me that this would be happening and put me on some other kind of maintenance and care plan before that happened.
Then comes Spike Lee's Jungle Fever, 1991. Halle auditions for the role of the respectable wife, but insists on reading for Vivian, the crack addict, a role no one believes she can play. Lee himself resists, saying she is too beautiful, too polished.
Come on, supposed to go. I know where the fuck I am.
Fuck where you go?
Berry disappears into a bathroom, washes off her makeup, strips down the glamour, and reappears unrecognizable. The transformation stuns him. She wins the role, detonating the too pretty for grit stereotype in one devastating performance.
I like her. I was most fortunate to make her acquaintance most.
This moment signals a rebirth. Hollywood could no longer box her in as just a pretty face. The wave continues. Strictly Business, 1991, showcases her comedic timing, while Boomerang, 1992, pairs her with Eddie Murphy, one of the biggest stars of the decade.
Love should have brought your ass home last night.
It's here that audiences begin to see the duality that defines Berry's artistry, an actress capable of being raw and radiant, vulnerable yet magnetic, commercial yet artistic.
I might not be all glamorous, and I don't have hair weaved all down my back, but let me tell you one thing.
And yet, a question lingers in the air, one that will shadow every step of her rise. The image is changing, but will the industry change with it?
I'm out of here.
The late 90s for Halle Berry are not just about acting. They are about positioning. Every role feels like a chess move, deliberate and calculated.
You keep picking these physically demanding roles.
Because I'm a masochist, I guess. I don't know.
In Queen, 1993, she embodies a biracial woman navigating identity and survival in a post-slavery America. It is not a blockbuster, but it signals ambition. Berry is chasing stories that echo her own questions of belonging.
At me. Talk about me behind my back. They tell me that they...
By Bulworth, 1998, she is stepping into satire, holding her own opposite Warren Beatty. But the true crucible arrives in 1999, when she fights for and finally secures the chance to play Dorothy Dandridge in HBO's Introducing Dorothy Dandridge. This is not just another part, it is a reclamation. Dorothy was the first black woman nominated for Best Actress in 1955, and Halle, 44 years later, channels her triumph and tragedy.
Dorothy Dandridge!
I've got rhythm.
The performance wins her a Primetime Emmy and a Golden Globe, but more than that, it cements her as a student of lineage, determined to honor those who cracked open doors, even as Hollywood kept them half shut.
She was as beautiful as Marilyn Monroe, as alluring as Ava Gardner.
What few realize is just how fiercely she fought for Dandridge. Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, even Vanessa Williams were linked to competing adaptations. Berry outlasted them all, buying the rights to Dandridge's biography and pouring 6 years of persistence into getting it made.
You're going to become a big film star and people aren't going to treat you like you're colored.
Behind the scenes, she lived with Dorothy's ghost, reading every archived article, listening to recordings, even visiting the places where Dandridge walked.
I decided to take a few, titles off my resume.
When the cameras rolled, critics saw more than acting. They saw a woman channeling her own fears of typecasting into an homage that doubled as a manifesto. Halle was saying, "I am not here for the sidelines."
He thought that he's sick and tired of the image of black women, a beautiful black woman being...
If Dandridge was the setup, the next 2 years deliver the knockout. Bryan Singer's X-Men, 2000, gives Barry a global franchise and a blockbuster platform. As Storm, she becomes one of the first black women in the modern superhero canon, her white hair and thunderclaps rebranding her as larger than life. Merchandise, posters, and Comic-Con buzz confirm it. Barry can sell popcorn just as easily as Prestige. Yet even here, she is calculating. Storm gives her leverage, but she knows it is not the role that will define her artistry. That would come from a small, searing drama no one could ignore. Monsters Ball, 2001. Directed by Mark Forster, made on a $4 million budget. It is a film about grief, race, and survival. Barry plays Letitia Musgrove, a widow grappling with poverty and despair, opposite Billy Bob Thornton. Behind the scenes, producers were hesitant to cast her. Too beautiful, they thought, too glossy for the rawness required. Barry begged to prove them wrong. She met with Forster, stripped away glamour, and spoke openly about her own experiences of pain and imperfection.
Shit. Didn't I tell you don't be eating that shit? Look at this. Look at all this.
On set, she gave everything. The infamous love scene, still debated to this day, was not choreography, it was catharsis, Barry later said. When the Academy gathered on March 24, 2002, she heard her name called, the first black woman ever to win Best Actress.
I want to thank my agent, CAA, Josh Lieberman, especially. I have to thank...
Her tear-streaked speech, "This moment is so much bigger than me," carved itself into Oscar history. The room rose, but the industry, as Barry would later admit, did not rush to change with it.
This moment so much bigger than me.
And then came Bond. Die Another Day, 2002, cast her as Jinx Johnson, a CIA agent who swims on a screen in an orange bikini, a deliberate echo of Ursula Andress's iconic entrance in Dr. No. But Barry flips the trope. Jinx is not just a Bond girl. She is Bond's equal, a fighter, an agent with her own agency.
Our friends call me Jinx.
My friends call me James Bond.
The marketing machine roared, posters plastered worldwide, video games featuring her likeness, interviews crowning her the modern face of the franchise. For the first time, a black woman occupied the center of Bond mythology, reframing what global action stardom could look like.
Ornithologist.
But the problem with firsts is the shadow they cast. The Oscar did not guarantee better scripts. The Bond film did not rewrite systemic casting bias. So the question lingers. After smashing ceilings, would Hollywood offer Halle Berry roles worthy of the woman she had become?
I want to thank my manager, Vincent Cerenzione. He's been with me.
Quick note, if you love untold music and film stories, subscribe to World Stories and Documentary. And if you're ready to binge, cue up our deep dives on D'Angelo's Mystery and Mary J. Blige's Paint to Platinum journey. By the time the 2000s are in full swing, Halle Berry is no longer just a star. She is an institution. She has carried Oscars, Bond franchises, and superhero teams. Yet the most telling proof of her staying power comes not in the glitz of red carpets, but in her ability to reemerge in unexpected arenas.
And we think he is in our house. But there's a difference between boys and girls.
In 2014, she headlines Extant, a CBS primetime series executive produced by Steven Spielberg. On paper, it is risky, a network betting on a cerebral, near-future science fiction drama at a time when procedurals dominate. But Berry brings credibility, advertisers follow, and the series runs for 2 seasons.
Anything to save her own ass.
She confirmed you had abnormal brain scans upon returning.
For an actress more often associated with blockbusters than broadcast, Extant is a reminder. Her name still translates into international sales and syndication. Time magazine even calls the series a gamble that works because Berry makes it human, proving she can bridge genre with relatability.
It's a cover-up, and you know it. Take your hands off of me!
What's striking about Extant is its behind-the-scenes leverage. Berry reportedly negotiated producer credit and greater creative say, signaling her desire to control narratives rather than simply perform them. At industry upfronts, executives leaned heavily on her presence to sell international buyers.
Molly Woods, your meds are being dispensed.
To media historians, it was a small but significant recalibration. Berry was no longer just a leading face. She was a leading hand in shaping what audiences would see.
And I have learned my lesson about playing with matches. Never do that when you're angry.
But Berry's boldest pivot comes with Bruised. Premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2020 and later released by Netflix in 2021, it marks her directorial debut. This is no vanity project. She plays Jackie Justice, a washed-up MMA fighter clawing her way back into the ring and into motherhood.
Excuse me. I'm looking for Budokan. Is that you?
The preparation is brutal. Berry trains for hours daily, breaking ribs during production, but refusing to halt filming. Critics are divided on the script, but almost universally respect the commitment. Vanity Fair calls it a bruiser in every sense, raw and relentless, while Netflix responds with confidence, signing Berry to a multi-picture deal.
Instructions, the referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
In a mid-career landscape where actresses often see fewer opportunities, Berry seizes control. She isn't waiting for scripts to arrive. She is writing her own chapter, literally and figuratively.
I know. But I'm all you got.
Bruised also reflects a wider cultural point. The industry's slow but growing recognition of female-led action films. By directing and starring, Berry places herself in a lineage that stretches from Catherine Bigelow to Greta Gerwig, women who refuse to stay boxed into the frame. For audiences, especially women of color, Bruised is more than a movie. It is a symbol that reinvention, even after decades, is possible when you seize authorship.
Be scared. But they don't know the code, no? Sometimes I'm still scared.
Then comes The Union, 2024. Teaming with Mark Wahlberg in a Netflix spy caper, the film receives lukewarm reviews. Rotten Tomatoes critic scores hover low, but streaming data tells a different story.
Holy shit.
It debuts near the top of Netflix's global charts, watched not for critical prestige, but for the draw of recognizable stars in algorithm-friendly packages. For Berry, it's a reminder of modern stardom's metrics. Opening weekend grosses matter less than watch time graphs and subscriber retention. Once again, she adapts to the rules of the new game.
Holy shit.
Hi, I'm Mikey.
In here.
But even as her resume stretches across decades, the cultural conversation never strays far from that 2002 Oscar win.
Door tonight has been opened.
Nearly every major profile, panel, and retrospective circles back. Why? 2 decades later, is Halle Berry still the only Black woman to have won Best Actress? The Guardian frames it as a haunting indictment of Hollywood's glass ceiling, while Vanity Fair quotes Berry herself admitting she no longer covets awards built on systems not designed for women like her.
Reviews in 1999 for her Emmy.
She uses her platform to speak candidly, refusing to treat the moment as personal glory alone, instead insisting it remain a mirror for the industry's failures.
Just me, so it's a whole different, area.
The irony is sharp. Berry, still working, still starring, still evolving, is celebrated for her endurance. But that celebration often highlights how little has shifted for others. Her career becomes both inspiration and indictment, proof of what's possible and evidence of how much more remains undone. Peaks are public, so are falls. What happens when the headlines turn? May 2000. The height of Halle Berry's fame collides with a scandal that could have derailed her career. After a late-night crash on Sunset Boulevard, she is accused of leaving the scene.
Accident involving recent Golden Globe winner Halle Berry. Berry allegedly ran a red light.
The story dominates the Los Angeles Times and local news cycles. Berry pleads no contest. The court sentences her to 3 years probation, a $13,500 fine, and 200 hours of community service.
She didn't know who was behind the wheel of the other car that hit her at this intersection until after the accident, but she does know.
It is a humbling moment, one she publicly accepts responsibility for. The juxtaposition is jarring. At the very moment she is scaling new heights in Hollywood, she is also facing the reality that celebrity doesn't shield you from accountability.
Attorney, he's seeking compensatory damages against Berry. And Ray thoughts.
It becomes one of the first times her name trends not for her artistry, but for her mistakes.
My back and neck is in severe pain. It's very hard for me to move, walk, or even sit.
Then comes Catwoman, 2004. With a $100 million budget, it was marketed as a feminist action spectacle, a chance for Berry to redefine the superhero landscape. Instead, it collapses into ridicule. Critics panic, audiences stay away, and the film becomes shorthand for blockbuster failure. But what Berry does next shocks everyone. In 2005, she walks into the Golden Raspberry Awards, the Razzies, Oscar in one hand, Razzie in the other. On stage, she delivers a gleeful, over-the-top acceptance speech, parodying her own tearful Oscar moment from 2002.
This moment is so much bigger than me.
She trashes the film, mocks the studio, and reclaims the humiliation as comedy. Entertainment Weekly later calls it one of the greatest award show moments ever, proof that self-awareness can flip shame into spectacle.
Star Nellie DeSalle swallowed her tooth too one day. The only difference is I got my tooth.
On YouTube, the clip lives on as a masterclass in survival. If Hollywood won't laugh with you, laugh at yourself first. Behind the scenes, though, Berry is wrestling with deeper wounds. In candid interviews, she speaks of growing up in a home marked by domestic abuse, her father beating her mother and sister, but never touching her.
It's a shit god-awful movie.
That absence of direct harm, she explains, left her with complex scars, an uncertain model of what love should look like.
Bad performance like I did. You need a lot of bad actors around you.
As she rises in Hollywood, her relationships become tabloid fodder. Her short-lived marriage to baseball star David Justice, her tumultuous divorce from singer Eric Benet, her eventual separation from actor Olivier Martinez.
After Halle files for divorce from Olivier, he files for divorce from her, but he used their real names. What's unclear is if Halle's document is valid.
The press feasts on the drama, painting her as unlucky in love. But Berry responds differently. She begins speaking out about women's health, about surviving abuse, about the lack of systemic support for Black women in the industry. She takes personal pain and metabolizes it into public advocacy.
Color and feeling kind of good right now, so.
Yet the frustration never disappears. The Guardian captures her disillusionment bluntly. That historic Oscar in 2002, the door she believed she had opened for women of color, has not led to the flood of opportunity she imagined.
Miss Ohio, the question: the Statue of Liberty symbolizes the American.
Nearly 2 decades later, no other Black woman has followed her in winning Best Actress. I thought it was bigger than me, she reflects. But the industry didn't change. Her career becomes both a triumph and a mirror, a symbol of how one woman's breakthrough does not automatically dismantle an institution.
I would like to symbolize a very positive role model, not only for women, but for all the people of the United States.
So what does endurance look like after 3 decades? Resignation or reinvention?
Halle Berry.
Quick note, this is World Stories and Documentary. If this deep dive hits, tap subscribe. Halle Berry's legacy is larger than a single moment, but the image of her holding that golden statue in 2002 remains one of the most indelible in modern cinema.
Your first film and believing in me. Oprah Winfrey for being the best role model any girl can have.
The Academy Award for Monsters Ball was not only a personal victory, it was a historic rupture, the first black woman to win Best Actress. Yet, as powerful as that symbol remains, Berry's story is not defined by the award alone. It is the through line of her career that makes her enduring, the pageant queen who refused to be boxed in by beauty.
Learn that no matter what race, color, religion, or sex you are, you can be whatever it is you want to become.
The Spike Lee discovery who washed off her makeup to prove she could embody grit.
The one I've been telling you about. Yeah, architect and shit. And that's his main...
The Bond foil who redefined the Bond girl archetype. The Emmy and Golden Globe winner who resurrected Dorothy Dandridge's story. The superhero who electrified blockbusters. The sci-fi headliner who carried Extant.
Molly Woods, your meds are being dispensed.
The fighter who trained until her ribs broke for Bruised. And the director who built her own stage when Hollywood wouldn't. Her legacy is not the first. It's refusing to be just one thing.
I'm on like probably 16 vitamins now.
I can match you.
In today's algorithm-driven era, Berry continues to bend with the industry's shifting currents. The Union, 2024, a Netflix spy caper, may not win over critics, but it thrives in the metric that now matters most: global streams, trending charts, binge sessions.
I injected you with a tranquilizer and...
think tank.
Nope. We work for the Union.
Extant, once a network experiment, finds new life on streaming platforms, pulling in fresh audiences a decade after its cancellation. This recycling of her work across platforms and generations is proof of cultural stickiness. Audiences don't just move on, they rediscover her. Meanwhile, Berry herself keeps the conversation honest. She speaks openly about the weight of carrying an Oscar first, about the doors that still haven't swung open for others, and about the reality that perfection was never the point. Persistence was.
Way up. I'm 47. 47.
Berry's ability to turn setbacks into momentum has become its own art form. For every Catwoman, there is a Razzie acceptance speech that flips embarrassment into triumph. For every tabloid headline, there is a candid interview that reframes the narrative toward survival, resilience, or advocacy.
How bad did you fall?
From the top to the bottom. Boom.
Right.
She has lived a career in extremes: Oscar and Razzie, blockbuster and flop, glossy campaigns, and bruising MMA training. And yet, she always manages to transform whiplash into forward motion. In that cycle of risk, stumble, and reinvention lies the secret to her longevity.
She was as beautiful as Marilyn Monroe, as alluring as Ava Gardner.
And so, when Halle Berry steps onto the Oscars stage 2 decades after that history-making night, sometimes as an honoree, sometimes as a presenter, the camera lingers. In her smile is a challenge.
And say, yeah, I guess this is what I'm going to look like when I get to be that age. I thought...
The challenge to the industry to make good on its promises, to open the door wider, and, more importantly, to leave it open.
And ended the scene with, "Come on, let's go." She had no purpose.
Whoa, you look amazing.
The symbolic weight of her 2002 win is not just a milestone, but a debt. One that Hollywood still owes to the women who followed, women still waiting for the industry to catch up to its rhetoric.
You know, like the toy cars?
Toy Maltesers. What is that?
They're cute.
Jay, come on, they're my kids.
Berry's story reminds us that legacy is not built on one crown, one statue, or one role. It's built on the refusal to accept limits. It's built on a body of work that crosses genres, mediums, and eras. And it's built on the courage to persist, even when the world hands you both applause and ridicule in the same breath. For Halle Berry, the question was never whether she could be first. The question has always been, who will be next? And when they arrive, the ground will be firmer because she was there first, holding the door.